Let me think. Um, it started with Christopher, so he was the first character I was following, and at first I thought, it's funny. It's with documentary film. I think you just can't really plan all that much ahead of time. You could, and I know people that work in documentary film that do plan ahead of time and even script their film before they even shoot it. But that's just not the kind of filmmaking I was interested in. And so I was following Christopher, and then I thought, okay, what is this movie going to be about? Maybe um, it'll be about people in New York trying to bring about change. Because at the time, I was meeting a lot of activists and all these things that Christopher was doing and events that he was going to. There's Reverend Billy. There was also a documentary made on him. He's this guy who's a reverend, and he has like this shot, the choir of Stop Shopping, I think it's called. They would go to Starbucks and they would bring up this choir and talk about, um, how Starbucks is bad and big corporations are bad and all that sort of stuff. So I was meeting all these activists, and I thought, oh, well, I'll make it about activists and people bringing about change in New York, and I just don't think that concept never really took hold. And then when I started meeting other people that were running for mayor, I was like, okay, this is it. This is the idea, to make it about people that were running for mayor. Because, I mean, just the experience of it was very educational, but very surprising too. Because you don't normally hear all the people that are running for office. You normally just hear Republicans and Democrats because they're the ones that are already established and they have a lot of money. So whenever there's a debate, it's the Democratic Party and the Republican Party that are sponsoring and getting it together. So that's why the minor candidates never get invited. And so when I started running into more and more people that were running for mayor, I mean, 8 of them total that I found, and there were actually others that were running. They just never showed up anywhere in the campaign trail. But I thought that's what would make it interesting, is that if that was the connection to all of the characters, they were all mayoral candidates. Which, when you look at these people, it seems kind of strange, or maybe they're not your regular candidates. So it's kind of, when you look at them, they you wouldn't think that, oh, these are politicians. You think more of them are just people. I just thought that was interesting. They were all
Just going back to the forums that Chris participated in, I was very surprised at the fact that he wasn't allowed to speak in them. And so in the documentary, he said that they pointed to some he said that I can't remember what he said, but he never exactly specified what logistics that they used to prevent him from getting into the forum. What exactly did they try to say that was the reason why he couldn't speak?
Well, they were always very vague. And even the campaign finance board, which is the organizing body for the televised debates, the debates that show on television, even their laws, which are New York City laws, they say that candidate can only participate in a televised debate if they have quote unquote minimum public support. And so that's never really specified. I mean, what is minimum public support? Clearly, Christopher Brodeur has some public support because he got 17,000 votes. Even Chris Riggs, I'm sure, has many of his friends who support him, and punk rockers and graffiti writers and stuff who like him. Is that minimum public support? They're always very vague. And so a lot of debates would say, well, we can't allow you in our debate because you don't have 4% of the vote, or you don't have 5% of the you're not polling at 5%. They would say, and so that's why Christopher, at the end, when he gets the 4% of the vote, he says, he's making reference to what the debate organizers would say, that you're not polling at a minimum percentage. And what he was saying is that, the vote is actually more accurate than the polls. So, it shows that he should have been allowed in these debates. And then at that debate, one of the debates that he got kicked out, you saw the guy outside the door saying to him, you just don't have enough experienced, you're not experienced, and because you're not experienced, we don't take you seriously. But the fact is that Michael Bloomberg himself didn't have any experience before either, before he ran for mayor the first time. And so, it's all very hypocritical. It's just really, the thing is, there's no laws that can help you. And, there is some laws that, for instance, are supposed to enforce that political candidates have equal time on the air, whether it's radio or television. But those laws are never enforced. And the thing is that, Seth, I think, was trying to organize a lawsuit against New York One and some other TV channels that were featuring either Bloomberg or the other Democrat candidates in discussions and so forth, because the FCC laws say that if you give airtime to a political candidate, you have to allow equal time to the other candidates that are running. And the thing is, Seth was on the ballot, he was registered as a candidate and everything, and so he wanted to get his right to air his views as well. But what happens is that basically the strategy of all these, whether it's debate organizers or television networks, their strategy is just to ignore you in hopes that you'll go away. And by the time you get a lawsuit together and going, the election is already over. So at that point, whatever point you had to make is kind of moot. So anyway, hope that answers your question.
I was in the video interview with Ed Koch.
Yeah, that's a very funny story because one of the things that I did when I was making this film, I didn't have a crew; it was all me, and I didn't have like a producer working for me that would be making phone calls. Oh, you gotta go to this place, you gotta go to this other place. So one of the things that I did was I signed up to all these mailing lists for activist groups in the city. There are many organizations like Seniors for Democracy. I'm just making up a name, but kind of like that, where they try to promote democracy and political activism and so on. And so I signed up to all these mailing lists, and then I also signed up to all the mailing lists for all the campaigns. So I was like on the mailing list for Bloomberg, for Ferrer, for Wiener, all of them. And so I went to a meeting, a campaign meeting for Bloomberg. Volunteer, he had I think like 50,000 volunteers, and they had this office in New York City, like right off of Times Square, devoted to just volunteer meetings and campaign strategy and so forth. And so I went to one of these meetings, and the day that I was there, they brought Mayor Koch to bump up, the volunteers and get them worked up about helping Bloomberg get elected. Not that Koch at his age can really pump you up. He's kind of shy in his interviews. He's kind of, he's very old, so he's not the most lively person, but he's still cool. And then what we did was, I told my girlfriend, who was sort of acting producer, I told her, we gotta see if we can get in touch with Mayor Koch. And so I think what she did was she called, he used to have a radio show on Bloomberg Radio, which is, Bloomberg owns Bloomberg TV and Bloomberg Radio, and Koch had a radio show there. And so I think she called Bloomberg Radio and talked to a producer there to see how we could get in touch with Koch. And so she gave us a number, and she called. And the day she called, the secretary for Koch was gone that day, and so he picked up the phone directly. and so then my girlfriend was like, oh, is this Mayor Koch? I was like, yes, it is. And then she told him that I had gone to a Bloomberg meeting and I had heard him speak, and that I thought what he had to say was very interesting, because what he talked about was, he talked about when he ran for mayor and the things that